call the adventure trying to find one.
Well, getting over the bridges, and they have
Getting over the bridge, I came running.
Yeah.
And I forgot.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
But they do that always?
No, it's not just all. So I ended up going across the Lee Bridge and then coming back.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, too much adventure. But yeah.
We finally got
Are you ready to begin? It's we're on the air, so it's time to begin. Such a typical Unitarian gathering. We have to get to know each other and enjoy each other's company as we come in. I'm Don Retzer. I'm a member of your board. My pronouns are he and him. If you have difficulty seeing me, that I have on a white shirt that makes my pale skin less pale, and also makes me ready to sing in the Singers later on. My task as a board member on this morning is to welcome you. Welcome. I have to tell you, though, that Reverend Logan's sermon last Sunday on radical inclusion turned me around about what is welcome. I'll have to tell you, that was very powerful for me. And as I reflected on that sermon this week, I realized that welcome is much less about, let me tell you who we are and let you really enjoy who we are, and more about, we're making space for you. And I wanted to quote from that sermon. He said to us, we make these safe spaces where everyone can bring their full selves, where everyone's voices are heard, and everyone gets recognized and celebrated. As a parent, as a family member, I could really relate to that. I could resonate with how much welcome is more about, oh, you're going to change my life. My first child, who was almost 51 years ago, I held up and I didn't so much say, welcome to my world, as you're really going to change my world. And they did. And in a blended family where I have 7 children and 7 special spouses and special friends and relations, and then 7 grandchildren, these are the people who raised me. These are the people who formed me, and these are the people who helped me see what the future is. And so it is with us. When I after the service last Sunday, when I went into the President's Hall, and it was full of people who were exploring new membership here, it resonated with me these words that Reverend Logan said last Sunday. Your presence here asks us to be open to becoming something new, something more beautiful, and something more just and beloved. Right. We are becoming, and your presence here helps us become. Before we go to the next section, I just have one little contribution from Unitarian Universalist Hysterical Society website. Why did the Unitarian cross the road? To show support to the chicken choosing its own path.
Thank you, Don. Good morning. I am the Reverend Sherman Z. Logan, Jr., and I have the privilege of serving this congregation as the senior minister. I use he, his, him pronoun. I am a tall black man, brown skin, white beard, a little bit of hair up here, tortoise shell glasses, black suit, silver and I guess white tie, and a white shirt. And I'm so glad to see all of you here this morning. Joining us this morning on the chancel as our worship associate, Fred Salto. Jamie Kilpatrick, our worship and music director. In the sound booth, Jim Cragen, Eric Glassman, and Drew Fritley. And providing the ministry of music this morning, our very own First UU singers. You know, I'm very excited this morning because I want to officially welcome our assistant minister, the Reverend Anna Tulu, who joined our staff in July. Reverend Anna is a Richmond native, and she attended Meadville Lombard Theological School. And she brings to this congregation her passion for social justice, environmental justice, faith formation, and worship. And she also brings with us her partner, Eric, and her 3 children. So let's give Reverend Anna and her family a very warm welcome. So I encourage you after service to meet Reverend Anna back in the coffee hour just to say hello and make her feel at home. So it's a custom here at First UU that we invite our visitors to tell us who they are and where they're from. So if you are visiting with us this morning and as you are comfortable, Jamie Kilpatrick, the minister of the mic, will come to you. So are there any visitors this morning?
Good morning. I'm Emilio. This is my wife, Nancy. We're visiting from Columbia, South Carolina. We're UUs there. We're long-time UU members, so we're glad to come and check you guys out.
Welcome. Go Gamecocks.
I'm Sarah Butts. I'm from St. Petersburg, Florida, and we're thinking of moving to Richmond, so I'm doing a little pre-church shopping.
Welcome. Jamie.
Hi, my name is Dina Ferguson, and I am visiting from the church up in Hanover County, the Unitarian Universalist Community Church, and we will be for at least 26 weeks. My son and his friend are downstairs in the OWL program. We did not have critical mass to run the program for the age group that he's in, so my spouse Colin or myself will probably be here any given Sunday.
Welcome.
So, thanks.
Hello, my name is Angie Monahan. I am originally from Connecticut. I moved to Richmond a couple of years ago, and this is my first time at any sort of Unitarian Universalist church.
Welcome.
And I am Amy. I'm also here with Angie, and this is my first time also, and I've been in Richmond for about 30 years.
Welcome. Thank you, Jamie. We are so glad that you have decided to visit with us this morning. So as you are comfortable, please rise in body or spirit to greet our neighbors and welcome our visitors.
Welcome in. Well, good morning. I am Reverend Anna Tulu, your new assistant minister. I use both she and they pronouns. I am a middle-aged white woman with pale skin and freckles, blue eyes, long, kind of messy, wavy hair. I'm wearing a green dress, a wooden chalice pendant, a rudraksha mala, and a patchwork stole of earth tones. Our call to worship this morning is from Reverend Dr. David Breeden. Welcome to this place where certainty transforms to questions. This place that takes what is and imagines what can be. Welcome to this space where what was fixed begins to shift, where rigidity embraces unfolding as we join in the dance of transformation. Welcome to this moment of change where we transfigure, transcend together. Amen. Ashe, and blessed be.
Good morning. My name is Fred Salto, and I'm a 70-plus white male with glasses, mostly bald with a gray beard and a ponytail. I'm wearing gray pants and a black and white shirt, and my pronouns are he and him. For our chalice lighting this morning, I'm going to invite you to enter our time together in worship as a time to reflect and remember our mission and our covenant together. So let us repeat our mission together. We grow in search of wisdom, care in support of community, and act in service of justice. And we covenant together to celebrate our differences, honor the UU principles, be accountable to our words and actions, listen with openness and compassion, invite and welcome all, commit our time, talents, and financial resources, and expect the best of each other and ourselves. May this be so, and blessed be.
Our opening hymn is number 188, Come, Come, Whoever You Are.
And this hymn y'all know really, really well, and it's a round, so we're gonna do it as a round. We're gonna do it twice together in unison so that new folk here, y'all can learn the melody, don't worry, it's easy. And then we're gonna do it twice as a round. So like that side of the room, like Jim, that way, y'all are gonna go first. And then this half of the room, I'll give you like a really big nod. It'll be fine. And altos and tenor, basses, y'all are with that side. Sopranos and tenors, y'all are with that side. Clear as mud? Yeah, let's sing around. Let's mix all our voices together. Woo!
Yeah.
reading this morning is from All About Love by Bell Hooks. Our confusion about what we mean when we use the word love is the source of our difficulty in loving. If our society had a commonly held understanding of the meaning of love, the act of loving would not be so mystifying. Dictionary definitions of love tend to emphasize romantic love, defining love first and foremost as a profoundly tender, passionate affliction for one another. Affection for one another. Maybe I need new glasses. Of course, other definitions let the reader know one may have such feelings within a context that is not sexual. She continues, however, a deep affection does not really adequately describe love's meaning. The vast majority of books on the subject of love work hard to avoid clear definitions. In the introduction to Diane Ackerman's A Natural History of Love, she declares, love is the great intangible. A few sentences down from this, she suggests, everyone admits that love is wonderful and necessary, yet no one can agree on what it is. Coyly, she adds, we use the word love in such a sloppy way that it can mean almost nothing or absolutely everything. Imagine how much easier it would be for us to learn how to love if we began with a shared definition. The word love is most often defined as a noun, yet all the more astute theorists of love acknowledge that we would all love better if we used it as a verb. I spent years searching for a meaningful definition of the word love and was deeply relieved when I found one in psychiatrist M. Scott Peck's classic self-help book, The Road Less Traveled, first published in 1978. Echoing the work of Erich Fromm, he defines love as the will to extend one's self for the purpose of nurturing one's own or another's spiritual growth. Explaining further, he continues, love is as love does. Love is an act of will, namely both an intention and an action. Will also implies choice. We do not have to love. We choose to love. Since the choice must be made to nurture growth, this definition counters the more widely accepted assumption that we love instinctively.
Good morning. We forgot to work out our secret signal for coming up. My apologies. My name is Grant Rissler. I use he, him pronouns. I'm a middle-aged white guy, short brown hair that's going gray more and more each day with a white goatee. I wear black-rimmed glasses except when I'm trying to read something close up, so if I lose those, please forgive me for that. And I'm wearing a pink shirt today. I currently serve as the secretary of the board of the Richmond Peace Education Center. I also work at the University of Richmond and bring words of greetings from my congregation, which is First Mennonite Church here in Richmond. Hopefully words of affection and not affliction. The Peace Center as many of you know, or some of you know, was founded in 1980 and has been a consistent voice for nonviolence and social justice in Richmond for nearly 45 years. It has also continued to be a place for people to come together. At its best, the sort of welcoming space that has been described here this morning for all of us, to become something new, to become something more peaceful, to become something more just. Some of you here may have connections with the Peace Center. Perhaps you were or are a member or volunteer or have attended a training that the Peace Center has helped sponsor or organize. Maybe you've come to the Peace Auction, which was actually my first encounter, being pulled in by a fellow church member to buy a ticket and come to that auction. And from there I was pulled in to serve on the communications committee and then on the board. Maybe you've come to our members meeting often in the spring, and it was a joy in 2024 for the first time to again have that in person after COVID. Over the decades, the Peace Center has taught conflict resolution skills to thousands of people, and that work continues. In August, it was wonderful. My congregation, First Mennonite, along with St. Paul's and the West Richmond Church of the Brethren, hosted a peace camp for rising kindergartners through 6th graders, and the Peace Center provided a session on peace-building skills each day for those 20-some children. Over the years, the Peace Center empowered teenagers to be leaders for peace and community change. Over the decades, Peace Center volunteers and staff educated about alternatives to war and oppression, protested against gun violence, and worked for racial justice. Peace Center programs have planted countless seeds of positive change, and its gatherings knit together people from all backgrounds who share peace values. If you would like to be part of this important work, I invite you to go to our website at rpec.org, rpec.org, and sign up for the newsletter that keeps people informed. You can also sign up to volunteer there. The path to peace has never been smooth, and peace is not a destination that ends at one point. It is always requiring of us who believe in those core values of peace and nonviolence and social justice to lean into that vision and to give and to do as love shows us, to build a community of peace together. Today, the Peace Center has been infused, as it has always been, with new board members and leadership, poised to plan and implement the next phase of our work. We're constantly on the lookout for others, for friends to join us in that work, as volunteers occasionally, as members of committees, or as even a board member. So if you are interested in that, I certainly invite you to sign up on our website. I would say find me afterwards, but I apologize. I will probably leave before that to go get our family to our congregation's gathering today at 11. Your support here through Share the Plate is a wonderful thing, both as it will make the Peace Center's continued work possible and as it shares and supports so many other organizations here in our Richmond area. Thank you for giving generously and for your generosity overall.
The ushers will now be taking our offering, and the different ways to give are printed on the screen there. You can either do check, website, an app, or a text. So thank you for your gifts.
And thank you for all that you give. I invite you into a way of being easy in your body as we enter into a time of meditation. Whatever you need to do, however that is for you. And allow your breath to enter into a pattern, a rhythm that is comfortable for you. To exist, we answer the first invitation from the world. We arrive. To be alive, we in turn invite the world into us through our skin, through our senses, through our sustenance, through our breath, through our breath. Before we invite this breath, we must first make space within. We soften our bellies, allow our lungs to expand, and even as that space is made, the air rushes in. We breathe the world in, and we breathe ourselves into the world. We breathe the world in. And we breathe ourselves into the world. If you've closed your eyes, you can open them. And we are going to carry this lovely breathing energy into our meditation hymn, which is 1009 in the Teal hymnal, Meditation on Breathing.
This is the kind of hymn where there are a bunch of parts that weave together, and you're just going to pick one that you like and do it. One of the parts is really simple. It just goes, breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe. And then there's a melody. When I breathe in,
That just feels good. We make room in our lungs, and the air rushes in. We make room in our lungs, and the air rushes in. A beloved teacher once shared with me that when she met with anyone for pastoral care, the conversations that people have with ministers, she would first pull out an additional chair for Spirit. And I love that as a simple ritual of invitation. Now, of course, Spirit doesn't need a chair. And because we are a spiritually pluralistic community, I'm going to say that the presence or existence of Spirit is not determined by our attention or invitation. Whether I believe in Spirit or not, its existence or non-existence isn't determined by me. It's also helpful to know that Jamie and I didn't know each other until a couple months ago. We both existed prior to knowing one another. So it extends forward. Regardless, the act of pulling out a chair for Spirit is an act of attention, intention, orientation, and acknowledgement that is both strikingly simple and profound. Without imposing her own beliefs on anyone else, my teacher used this ritual to orient to her own spiritual beliefs, which grounded her as a minister. By doing this, she set aside her ego, that habitual delusion that ministry is a solo act, and she made room for Spirit to participate in that pastoral moment. And inspired by this, when I served as a hospice chaplain, I found my own little private rituals to remind myself to make room for Spirit or mystery or just possibility, something beyond of what I had conceived. I might pull out a chair or light a candle or touch my pendant or a stone in my pocket. These simple acts make room for something bigger than me. This is also how I understand the lighting of our chalice. That with this act, we are making room to invite love to the center of any gathering where we perform this ritual. A physical act to represent a spiritual orientation, invitation. So I want you to think back to the last time you really noticed the lighting of the chalice, hopefully this morning, and check in with your senses. Really remember that moment. How does this ritual shift your attention? Can you feel it anywhere in your body? And how does it feel? Does it evoke an emotional response? Do you experience resistance or opening? Be curious about that. Although the existence of Spirit is not determined by our belief in it, the same cannot be said about invitation, because invitation does not exist without us. It only exists because of our intentional actions. And just as ritual can be an invitation, invitation itself can be a form of ritual. One being or group extending, creating that invitation, and another receiving and answering it. Each role comes with its own inherent power and responsibilities and risks. Authentic invitation requires something of us. Recently, the UUA, of which we are a part, voted to adopt a set of 6 values as integral to our faith tradition. If you haven't memorized them yet, they are justice, equity, transformation, pluralism, interdependence, and generosity, with love at the center. That change, by the way, from our past principles to our current values does not mean that we didn't believe in these things before. And nor does it mean that we no longer believe in the principles that were the core of our faith previously. But adopting these new values with love at the center was an act of making space and intentionally inviting a new way of engaging with Unitarian Universalism, one in which our actions in the world mattered more than our professed ideals. This way of engaging is arguably more aligned with a religion that is spiritually pluralistic. As our former UUA president, Reverend Susan Frederick Gray, put it, quote, "To have a deity at the center of one's spiritual tradition makes the core question one of belief. To have love at the center invites a deeper question. How are we to live? Because love is a verb and a way of being in relationship." End quote. So when deity is centered, the focus is on belief, but centering love invites action regardless of spiritual belief. Now, some of the criticisms around our newly adopted values were that love is just too wishy-washy and too poorly defined, which our reading from dearly departed bell hooks acknowledged. This is a challenge for us, not just in UU, but culturally, in the world. Hooks offered up a definition of love that prioritizes love as a verb, as active work towards spiritual growth of both oneself and others. She describes it as extending, to imply that risk is part of it, and it is something that we choose to center again and again in our lives. Now, along those same lines, Sikh activist Valerie Kaur, in her book See No Stranger, defines love as, quote, "a form of sweet labor, fierce, bloody, imperfect, and life-giving, a choice we make over and over again." End quote. Love is a choice we make, a labor we undertake. We make room in our hearts, and the world rushes in. We make room in our hearts, and the world rushes in. When we talk about invitation and when we talk about love, there are a few things worth considering. So I want you to consider this for yourself as I go through some questions and think of an example that works for you. What is something or someone that you would like to invite into yourself, into your life, into this congregation, into the world? Is it a person or a group of people? Or is it something less tangible, like justice, understanding, healing? What is it that you would invite? You got that? Why? Why is it important to you to invite this thing or person or whatever it is? Is it for your own benefit or need? For the benefit of another? Or is it mutual? Hold on to that, okay? Now, if you invite someone to your home for dinner, you might need to know what they can or cannot eat, or set another chair in place at your table. So for the invitation that you are contemplating, what might you have to do to make room for that which you are inviting? What are you willing to do? As Reverend Logan shared with us last week, here we are moving into the work of radical inclusion or radical hospitality. Are you willing to change yourself or yield your own preferences in order to make that space for invitation? And if that invitation is answered, yes or no, or I'm not so sure about this, are you still willing to change even more? How much do you want it? How much do you want it? To invite is to exercise a form of power. And if you're inviting someone into your home, or your church, those power dynamics are intensified. So it's important to be aware and to educate ourselves. If we truly want to practice invitation authentically, we have to be willing to engage of ways of giving that power away, of centering the needs of whomever we would welcome. And one last point of reflection. When it comes to invitation, are you most often the person doing the inviting, wanting others to come to you? Or are you more often the person being invited, answering the invitation, meeting others where they are? Are there opportunities for growth in shifting these tendencies? Once we move beyond ideals and illusions, the practice of invitation can be daunting. Once we move beyond fairy tales, the labor of loving becomes evident. The risk is real. We cannot stay comfortable or complacent. It may be that when we consider it deeply, we start to question whether we really need the thing we thought we wanted. Or it may be that we dig deep and we commit further still. As Octavia Butler prophesied, all that you touch, you change, and all that you change changes you. To practice invitation is to act, to ritualize the desire to connect to something more than just yourself, to become, to grow, to risk, to change together. That sounds a lot like loving. Perhaps loving is an ongoing practice of invitation. We make room in our hearts, and the world rushes in. We make room in our hearts, and the world rushes in. Amen, Ashe, and blessed be. That was beautiful. Thank you, singers. Before our benediction, I want to let you know another form of invitation that we, along with over 300 other UU congregations, will be in a couple weeks holding a weekend-long climate justice revival to re-energize ourselves in our climate and environmental work. On Saturday, September 28th, we will engage in dialogues to acknowledge the environmental challenges we are facing, to envision a more just future that we want to invite, and to brainstorm tangible things that we as individuals and as a community can do to make space for that more just, more liberatory future. Then on Sunday, September 29th, our worship will likewise be focused on climate justice. And I'm not going to give anything away, but it's going to be good. The whole weekend is multi-generational, so please join us for these dialogues, for worship and advocacy. The Environmental Care Initiative has a table in the foyer with information and how to sign up. Please sign up today and spread the word. And so, in benediction, I now offer a question. Valerie Kaur tells us that rituals have the power to usher in the transformation that we are ready for. The next time you or we light the chalice, I want you to ask yourselves, what transformation are you ready for? Amen. Ashe, and blessed be. Our closing hymn is Draw the Circle Wide. It is not in your hymnal, so look to the screens for your lyrics, and it's pretty easy to pick up.